It had to happen.
We called it, right?
We called it. Because we believed more in Bangladesh choking than Pakistan winning. But yes, credit to Pakistan. They have won by 11 runs and people are happy. Broadcasters are happy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the 40-year history of the Asia Cup, India versus Pakistan final. Done, sealed, approved. Not since 1999-2000 did India and Pakistan play 3 or more games either in a tri-series or in a multilateral event. In a multilateral event like an ICC World Cup, Champions Trophy, 2 has been the minimum.
2007 and 2017.
17. And also when you look at Australasia Cups, Sharjah, all that, it's either been once or twice.
But if you look at it this way, 2007 and 17 means a 10-year gap. 2027. There is a World Cup.
There is a World Cup. But then you're playing 3 times in a single event of the Asia Cup.
Finally, this format can justify its existence.
Yeah.
Because it's given everyone what they really wanted. 3 India versus Pakistan match. By the way, Siddharth, before we go on to discuss the match, conspicuous in your absence of people being happy with sports journalists. I wonder why.
I know. I mean, about 2 weeks ago, there was boycott, and we were all being called Gaddars. We are all traitors. Now, the same guys were like intensely discussing the match. What is the difference? What changed?
Also, I may add that for every single India-Pakistan match, and this is metrics that can be backed up by even you guys watching, our traffic has been through the roof for every single India-Pakistan match. And I'm including the first one. Even the first one. Amidst all the boycotts, all the boycott talks, all the we won't watch and this and that. Yeah, you're right. That had the highest viewership.
But, boss, get used to it. For the first time in 40 years of the Asia Cup, it's going to be India versus Pakistan final. What the only combination, you had Pakistan, Sri Lanka, you had Pakistan, Bangladesh, you had India, Sri Lanka, you had India, Bangladesh. You also had Sri Lanka play multiple occasions in multiple formats, but you never had an India-Pakistan final.
Until 2025.
Until 2025, the year of firsts. And thanks to Haris Rauf's 3 wickets, Shaheen's spell early on, and Saeem Ayub. As I said, Saeem Ayub, his wicket-taking ability is phenomenal. Run scoring 23 runs. So there were a lot of names called, but congratulations to Pakistan, and we are joined by Nikhil. Dream come true, Nikhil. India versus Pakistan final in an Asia Cup for the first time ever. Congratulations, you're witnessing history.
My question to you is, whose dream is being fulfilled?
For the purists, for the fans, for the broadcasters, for the sports marketeers.
Nikhil, before you joined, I told him that he very conspicuously left out sports journalists in that entire list, and he continues to leave them out.
No, I don't think it's a dream final. I mean, yes, for the broadcaster, yes, for the larger cricketing public, yes, that India versus Pakistan. But quite frankly, as a journalist, as well as somewhere deep down as an Indian fan, I would have taken any team in the final. And sorry to sound arrogant, but I think, and we're going to wax lyrical about a team that's won, and Pakistan's done very well to win this particular encounter. But I'm going to be very brutally honest. I think what this Asia Cup has shown, and what this particular game has shown, is that there is India and there's everyone else. Okay. Just look at the quality of cricket that has been played here. I'm sorry, I would never want to sound arrogant. I wouldn't ever want to sound overconfident. In fact, I'm very wary of these things overall. But I think the quality of cricket that we witnessed in this game, the quality of cricket that we witnessed in general. I mean, look at Bangladesh. 135 is what you have to chase down. I mean, you can't do that no matter what the conditions are, what the situation is. I think that is, and the way Bangladesh has played, and to an extent, I mean, I'll even put Pakistan on that. I know they've qualified for the final, but the quality of cricket that they've come up with against the Bangladesh team that India was beat them by 41 runs, against a Sri Lankan team that was beaten by Bangladesh. I think it is a case of the rest of the three really competing at, at the same level, or performing in the vicinity of each other. But I think India is far ahead. I'm sorry, but while this is a close game, but the quality of cricket, both from Pakistan as well as Bangladesh, rather poor. And I think that is what is telling you about Asian cricket. When we talk about dominance in T20I cricket, I think we'll talk about India. We'll talk about Australia to an extent. We might even extend it to South Africa. And if you want to stretch it a bit, maybe even England will include. But is there any other Asian team we're talking about? No. And this is exactly why I'm telling you. Just look at that quality of cricket. Bangladesh just bottling up a chase after bottling up a chase versus India, which, of course, Indian bowling was good, but they should have put up a better show versus India as well. And they should have clearly put up a better show here as well. So I think it's, I don't know, in that sense, pehle aap, you win, no, you win, I don't want to lose, you win. It's that scenario. I think India, compared to all other teams, is performing really at a high top level of T20I cricket, both for Bangladesh and Pakistan. I know Pakistan will celebrate, and they have all the right to celebrate, as you've just mentioned. For the very first time in 41 years, we are seeing an India-Pakistan final. For the very first time in 17 editions of the Asia Cup, we're seeing an India-Pakistan final. So sure, kudos to Pakistan to have qualified here. But just look at the rest of the competition and look at where India is.
Indeed, but there are a lot of undertones to this, because see, until 28th of September, why it's a novelty, why it's a dream? We won't be covering cricket all the 3 days, we'll be covering politics. The action that will take place off the field is going to dominate the cricket. Let's be very, very honest about it. Okay? We are not going to cover the cricketing action and, okay, man to man, what should be done? What is the kind of conditions in Dubai? How will they counter it? No. It is all the dramebazis that Pakistan will now do. It is all the notankis that their meme army and their so-called media are going to do. And that is going to be the bone of contention. That is going to be the focus. So that is why it's a novelty. Now my political knowledge will also increase thanks to this tournament. I came here thinking I will do a cricketing event, I will do a sporting event. No, I'm going to do a political event. That's the India-Pakistan
Let me
thing.
call that out. I don't know whether Siddharth is saying his political knowledge is increased, but Siddharth, and correct me if I'm wrong, Siddharth claims that he knows more about geopolitics than he knows about sport. So I wonder, what is it that he would have learned more from this tournament than he didn't already know? Please, Shane, tell me if what I'm saying is true or not.
No comment in that regard. I do agree that, yeah, Siddharth is definitely very knowledgeable about geopolitics. So I'm not sure what you learned. What did you learn?
Yeah.
I will only learn.
What is the new thing that you learned? You already knew everything there is to know about geopolitics.
See, whatever happens, I will see the next level of delusion if Pakistan do what they claim to be doing on 28th of September. Okay? 28th of September, if Pakistan win, you'll see a whole new dynamics. And I'm sorry to say, you know what? I'm glad that live television exists. Live broadcasting exists. Because in a parallel universe, Pakistan would have claimed victory on 14th and 21st September also. So at least the proof is in the pudding that yes, India did beat you on 14th and 21st. And they have beaten you on several other occasions also.
You know, your big worry is them beating India. Truth be told, my big worry is, as what you said, for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and then really throughout the entirety of Sunday, is that the focus is going to be on, as you correctly put it, everything possible off the field. Let's face facts, the first 2 games didn't really give you much to write home about from a cricketing standpoint. If Pakistan are indeed the second best team in Asia, and truth be told, that is supposedly the standing they have now, considering they've reached the final, then it just shows you the gulf in class. India are a top class T20 team, Pakistan are a team.
Asia Cup is a farmers tournament, farmers league tournament. Let's make it very, very clear. If Pakistan are your second best team, do say, please.
It's basically like the French Liga at this point.
Yeah.
India, PSG, and then you have the rest of the teams.
Yeah. Nantes, Nice, Monaco,
Brest,
everything. So
that's an actual team name, by the way.
BREST. Yes, I know. So It is, I don't know. This is going to be a way new ground. I mean, we have not covered an India-Pakistan final for the past 10 years. Eight years was the last time an India-Pakistan final happened.
Yeah.
Be it in any tournament. Asia Cup also, you didn't get a final. It threatened in 2022, but it never happened.
Correct.
ODIs, Pakistan have been so off. Now, after 8 years, Champions Trophy 2017, we are going to see it. And that is why 3 times. That's why I said the broadcasters will be absolutely, the dollar chimes will just be going off the cusp at this point. So, yeah, kudos to them though. They achieved the win thanks to some very good bowling. Shaheen now in 2 games. If he strikes in the power play, then he's a different bowler altogether. And I'm sorry, Sri Lanka showed that it was no fluke. Even Bangladesh couldn't withstand Shine Afridi. 3 wickets in consecutive games that he's taken now. And Saim Ayub can't bat, but is definitely bowling well. And two things in common between, I know they had a shared history, Pakistan and Bangladesh. Catches dropped. Look at it. 4 dropped catches by Bangladesh ensured that from 73 for 6 you went to 135. That one missed run out also. And that's why both teams wanted to lose, but one wanted to lose even more badly. And that was Bangladesh, in a nutshell. Strange game, Nikhil, wasn't it, in a way? It's a very strange game that you witnessed because none didn't look like winning at any point in time.
No, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, Siddharth, as has been pointing out, that, he doesn't worry about Pakistan and how they've been performing. And yet, I see a sort of, not fear, but you're careful about what Pakistan can do in the final. I hear it in your voice when you're analyzing. I mean, the way I look at it, again, Pakistan's done well, but just break down their performance. Once again, their batting is not really standing up to the task. They have been bailed out. If you take a look at this game, they've been bailed out once again by their lower order. Mohammad Nawaz, Mohammad Haris, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Fahim Ashraf. These are your 4 batters that are batting in the lower half of the batting order. And they're the ones who bailed you out. Because if it wasn't for them, then Bangladesh was probably chasing, 100. At one stage, 100, 110, they were 6 down for 70 odd or something like that, or even less than that, I can't remember. But you weren't chasing more than 100, and that is a total that Bangladesh would have won. So clearly, that's one thing that that Pakistan's really not stepped up. And I think versus Bangladesh you can win, versus Sri Lanka you can win. Even against Sri Lanka, they were in a bit of a trouble, and it's their lower half that really bailed them out. And that's not going to happen with a top team like India. That's the first thing. Then you get to their bowling. Yes, Shaheen Shah Afridi has had 2 good games versus Sri Lanka and now versus Bangladesh. Haris Rauf had a good game versus India. He had a good game today as well. Both these fast bowlers coming back to form. But again, I feel it's a difference of class. The kind of batting that Bangladesh put up, the kind of batting that Sri Lanka has put up. I think the Indian batting is a completely different kettle of fish. And I think both Haris Rauf and Shaheen Shah Afridi still do not have that sort of a quality to trouble this Indian team. On a rare day, it can happen. Any bowler can do that. I mean, there have been rare days where, some really unheard of bowler has also troubled the Indian team. It happens. That's another thing. But I'm saying, by and large, I don't see this Pakistani bowling lineup or this Pakistani batting lineup really putting up a fight versus what India is producing at the moment. And I think that's just sort of a proof of where India are at the moment and where Pakistan is. So that's the first thing. I know that you spoke about, what would happen if they were to win the final. And I know that Indian, and I'm just putting this out there for the Indian fans, in that rare chance if Pakistan are to win the final, I'm sure they will cross every line possible of celebrating in the most inappropriate manner that you can even think of. If you're thinking that what Shaib Zada Farhan did, what Haris Rauf was doing on the boundary line, well, then that is just very minor to what might happen if they are to win. But I still maintain that while they've done well against both Sri Lanka as well as Bangladesh, I think there is still a massive gulf in the way India is performing and at the level that India is performing and the way Pakistan, Bangladesh, or even Sri Lanka is performing. That takes me back to the point, if you remember, when we were discussing the India-Bangladesh game, and there was a lot of criticism about what happened to India in the second half of the batting lineup, and that's exactly what I pointed out. Remember, they were batting first. Look at Pakistan when they're batting first. Same ground, okay, may have been a different strip, but look at what has happened to them. They put up 135 total, which also proved to be a match-winning total, right? So I think you have to take it into context. This is going to be a low-scoring encounter, and no matter, it's a low scoring round. No matter what team or what day you're playing, I think this Indian team is punching really above the norm, the par. So I think that again will show you. And so we point fingers at what is Tilak doing. Is he doing enough? Hardik strike rate or Suryakumar Yadav not getting runs. You must remember that batting conditions here aren't easy. First 10 overs may still be easy. Later half isn't going to be that easy. And then I get back to Bangladesh. Now, 2 matches back to back, they've bottled it up. And this is my fair assessment about Bangladesh. I think they have a psychological issue. They have a mental issue. They've been playing international cricket from 2000 onwards. It's been 25 years. And I can't remember the last time or at any time, and you guys can correct me, if they won a major trophy. They haven't. They falter at the last moment. They fail to even reach finals. They may have reached on a stray occasion here and there. They don't do that. And there are other teams. Sri Lanka, by the time they played 25 odd years in international cricket as a permanent member, they'd won a World Cup. So just look at how other teams have performed and how well they've improved. But I think this is a serious question that Bangladeshi fans and Bangladesh cricket needs to look at. That have they really reached? Yes, they've, on a rare occasion, they've come up and done well and shown you that there's young talent coming in. I've been a fan of some of their players. Like Hridoy has been a big disappointment in this entire tournament. And truth be told, I think Liton Das is a player that they've missed both against India and in this game as well. Had he been there, maybe things could have been different. I know it's a team in transition, but so are other teams like Pakistan, to an extent like Sri Lanka as well. But look how well they are performing. So I think there's serious question marks over Bangladesh as well. They'll get that odd good result, come into contention, but when it really matters, they bottled it up. Not in one, in a couple of games. That's what Bangladesh has done. So at the end of the day, my larger point being that Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh all have a lot of flaws. They will, win against each other on and off. But at the end of the day, they are all operating at the same level, whereas India is at the next level. Yes, there can be a rare chance. I don't want to sound overconfident or arrogant. Rare chance they can lose a final, but that has to be one of their worst days. Even on their worst day, they are good enough to win. So, again, this is something for the rest of the Asian countries to really look into.
There was a period where Bangladesh threatened. 15, they got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. 16, they reached the Asia Cup final. You look at it, even in 18, Asia Cup, they reached the final. But again, in their entire history, they have won only one major multilateral, that was a tri-series. And who are the teams there? Afghanistan and Zimbabwe. That was the only time that they have won a multilateral series. And that was played at home also, by the way. They have won bilateral series on the draw. But then, test matches, when you look at it, you have never won against India. You managed wins against England and Australia, but that too at home. You've beaten New Zealand away. That's the one major achievement that you've had in this entire period. You have not beaten England in England. You've won against the West Indies, but winning against the West Indies is no big deal. Sure, you beat Pakistan, you swept them 2-0 in Pakistan. Sri Lanka also, the other laggard that is there, it's a tough tussle. Who's the laggard between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh?
And Bangladesh, I think in particular, their one major problem has been the inability to kick on. They were seen as something of a sleeping giant in the early 2000s was the term used for them. At this point, you have to question why the giant is still sleeping.
Must be Kumbhakarn.
Yeah.
There is not that big of a noise to wake him up, and it's not desperate enough. Kumbhakarn had to be woken up. But even Kumbhakarn, one day, he would wake up and be so devastating that the world would fear. Bangladesh, even if they wake up for even one day, no one will fear them.
Exactly.
That is how their situation is at this point in time.
And see, I think the problem with them, as Nikhil rightly points out, I think they've developed a huge mental block. At this point in time, it does feel like when you watch them, it's like, okay, you just know they're going to choke. Why is it otherwise, Siddharth? In any other normal circumstance, okay, let's change teams here. Let's say it was Pakistan versus Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka had to be chasing 130 or that they were chasing today. We would have said Sri Lanka are slight favourites and probably picked Sri Lanka to win. We both picked Pakistan to win. Why is that? We picked Pakistan to win because we know that Bangladesh, when push comes to shove, they aren't able to get over the line. And lo and behold, that ability just manifests itself yet again at a crucial moment. Net run rate wasn't an issue, fine margins weren't an issue, big chases weren't an issue. You just had to get home. You couldn't get home.
You couldn't get home. And look at it. 135 was the least, that was the lowest total Pakistan had defended against Bangladesh. Because they were bowled out for 134, they defended that.
Yeah.
Now they defended 135 also. So, Bangladesh, their mental frailties were visible in 2016. Remember, 2 of 3 with 3 wickets in hand, yet you lose by 1 run.
Correct.
That epic Bengaluru final match that was there in that unbelievable game. So, this game, tomorrow we have the last Super 4 game, and that is a dead rubber. One of the dead rubbers that's going to be there.
Wow, what an exciting game coming up. I can't wait for it. I'll be there at the ground 2 hours in advance, giving you all the latest updates.
Exactly. India versus Sri Lanka. Who would have thought?
I'm guessing what will be more exciting than tomorrow's match would be seeing what India do with their batting order again.
Yeah. Maybe the two guys who haven't...
There'll be something more exciting than that. The quantum of punishment, if at all, for both India and Pakistan would be announced tomorrow. So
I dare say that'll be more exciting than the
keep us
match.
busy.
Right.
But I already know
100%.
I know what the sentencing will be.
What is it? Please, Siddharth, please throw some light on it so all our viewers can also
If you
find
can
out.
see, just a slap on the wrist. Just a slap on the wrist.
For both teams. For both teams.
Yes.
I don't see a ban.
I'm not sure.
Never in the history of
See, you will
cricket
have
have
to.
you been banned.
You will have to. No, I'm not talking about the ban. Whatever be the thing, I think the worst case scenario, if you take a look at, let's say Indian scenario, it's a level 1 offense. So, the best case scenario is just a verbal reprimand. Worst case scenario is a 15% match fee,
Yes.
right? So, or 1 to 2 demerit points. So, it'll fluctuate between this. So but. I think Pakistan's action on the field needs to be looked differently to what India did. I think in India's case, it was a reference and they limited themselves to, dedicating it to whether it was the Indian armed forces as well as, the victims of the Pahalgam terror. And I'll make no bones about it that was a political reference. So, sure enough, if ICC wants to take action, it'll be following the rule book. But as I said, worst case scenario, 15% match fee, which shouldn't be too much of a problem for the Indian team. They'll, take it on the chin and move forward. But for Pakistan, with the kind of gestures that were made on the field and the statements, and not once but multiple times, I think that needs to be looked at more seriously. I remember Virat Kohli made that indecent gesture and was fined 50% of the match fee. And this is more a political statement. So, I don't know, maybe 100% match fee, maybe a 1-match ban. I think both scenarios need to be looked at differently. Anyway, we'll find out what happens tomorrow, whether action has to be taken.
Any time, Nikhil, what time will the hearing take place?
I wish. Just the fact that we get to know a hearing has taken place and what has happened is amazing. Timing to just forget.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, there's been no official press releases or anything like that. I've had to find out all information through sources. There's nothing been like that.
Wow.
There are no official channels that are open. Where is it that ICC has sent in information as to what is happening, or PCB or BCCI or anybody? Nobody has.
Yep. So, this is going to dominate the proceedings. Whatever be the ramifications that happen tomorrow. Surya gets a fine, Pakistan get a fine. That will dominate tomorrow. The match is secondary. As I mentioned, Friday, Saturday, until the first ball is bowled on Sunday, these are the things which will dominate. All the off-field nautankiya that Pakistan will do, and the exasperation that what India will feel at this point in time. So let's see how that goes. But then, yeah, they started the fire. India started the fire. So that is how we look at it. But let's take a few comments. Srijit RKR is saying, what if Abhishek gets out early? India will be in deep trouble. At least 30 runs falls short.
I doubt.
But Nikhil, I mean, worst case scenario, what if? I mean, Abhishek Sharma has been in great form. But if you lose Abhishek Sharma in the power play, you've lost that impetus in the power play. He was the one setting it up for you, right? Then,
No,
India
so-
plan B then.
No, so I mean, this is exactly the question that I raised in my match report, as well as then I asked Mr. Gavaskar that too. Though Mr. Gavaskar dismissed it by saying that I don't think it is something to worry about. It's a team game, and Shubman's also been giving you start on one game. Sky really chipped in one game. Tilak had a not out. The other day, Hardik chipped in, and of course, all of them are playing different roles. So he said, no, it's a team game. There's nothing to worry, even if Abhishek has a bad day. Not to worry about that. How I look at it is that I think it's not so much just Abhishek, and I know that he's the X factor, the way he bats. I think it is more so batting in the first 10 overs that is slightly easier than later. So if you had to shuffle the batting order and probably send, let's say Sanju Samson to open, he probably would have the best time and the position to be batting the way he does, and there's a possibility that he scores much better than what is happening when you're sending players down the order, or how you saw even someone like Akshar struggle to really connect the ball. You send him a bit higher up the order, they might bat differently. So I think that trend might continue, that in the first 6 to 8 to 10 overs, Indian batters, whoever they are, they have to bat aggressively, and each of them can and bat at 200 strike rate, because that will be the best time. After that, you'll get sluggish, so you'll have to just in that sense, compensate and then get to a competitive total if you're batting first. I think batting second will allow you to really plan the chase. And batting second used to always be very easy because there used to be a lot of dew. But you see, the ground behind me, and there really hasn't been that much dew. But I think the next few days will also be interesting. I'll tell you why. Because today, for the very first day, I did feel that the temperatures dropped slightly. So even in the night time, when the sun is set, it was usually hot. Even now, it's hot. But I don't know, I have a feeling that it's dropped a few degrees. And when that temperature drops, it tends to bring dew with it. I don't know whether it's dropped as much as to bring some dew. We wouldn't know. I don't think there was too much dew today as well in the game. But the temperature is changing rapidly. Who knows what happens on Friday and what happens on Sunday. But if there is dew, then batting second will become very easy. So again, let's see what really happens between India and Pakistan. Both occasions that India has won is when they have been chasing. So if they are to bat first in the final, how does that match pan out? We'll see. But they often say that in a big pressure game, batting first is not a bad thing. Team that's chasing might panic. So again, that is something that we have another 3-4 days to analyze in detail, and I'll keep bringing you all the latest information from here. But at the moment, I wouldn't worry about the Indian team not firing minus Abhishek. I think they have enough firepower to still get you a good enough score.
I mean, because now Dubai has changed into a batting first venue. After that break in Abu Dhabi, where Sri Lanka and Pakistan took on each other, next 2 games it's been batting first.
Exactly.
Because no dew.
Yeah, the dew factor is negated. Of course, the dew factor is gone. And more importantly, what it's done is not only has it made, normally what would happen is that the pitch would ease out, the outfield would ease out. Now it's getting tougher to bat in the second innings. So it's not even like the conditions are staying stable. If you realize that the second innings, you see they're just not able to get anything out of the surface. And so, yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what decision is made at the toss come Sunday.
By the way, Pakistan's all 3 wins against India have only come while chasing.
Correct.
Bengaluru 2012 they chased, 2021 they chased in the T20 World Cup
And
right
22.
at this venue, 2022 also Super 4 they won while chasing at this venue. But yes, the only 3 wins chasing, but they've also lost while chasing as well. So it's not as if if they win the toss and if they chase they'll win. No, they had a chance to chase in New York, but they failed. They fell short by 6 runs. So boy, oh boy, it promises to be something. Rookie Techie is like saying, catch drops made Pakistan score 135 from 57 for 5. Pakistan would have been bowled out for 110 if the catches were taken. No one has patience. Rotate strike from Bangladesh, Miss Litton. Simple. Those 4 dropped catches and that run out miss ensured that no way it was there. Aneet Sandhu saying, India versus Pakistan in final. If India wins, Sky and Mohsin Naqvi on stage. Now let me see if Sky will not shake hands with Mohsin Naqvi, who's directly involved. I mean, if you look at it, for all the history that we have had, I mean, that will be a sight. That will truly be.
I think I don't think they will. I think the call has been made beforehand, so I don't think they're going to do that.
They won't do that. Yeah. So that is the thing we are looking at. Any other further comments, Pawan, or?
Vikas Jaiswal said bottled up such a good chase. Wholeheartedly agree.
Same word for the last half an hour. Yep.
Let's see. GGK says final will be record-breaking viewership. Hope we bat first. I agree on both counts. It's rare I find myself agreeing with Mr. GGK, but
it will be a viewership record.
Yeah.
What about the boycott? What happened? Were we living in a parallel universe 2 weeks ago?
What boycott?
Good question, Siddharth.
What boycott?
What boycott? I know. Did it really happen?
Siddharth, I told you last game only. Remember 21st, I had said that neither was India-Pakistan trending on social media.
Scan for an hour to search for tweets for boycott.
Exactly. There was really nothing in terms of boycott. The boycott, the time period was only with the first match.
I know. Only that's how
fizzled.
Fickle and fizzly our memories are at this point in time. Sorry, there's no word called fizzly, but that is... It is as if it never happened. And you're back to, we'll beat them on the field. We'll celebrate. 28th, yet again. I read their mind at this point in time. So, record-breaking viewership. And you've beaten them on the field. Well done, my friend. But Loyal P saying, India has more pressure in the final. Very hard to win and the Indian team collapse. If Abhishek is out, that's a fear that many people are having.
I think it's a valid fear considering India's history in finals. But then if you have to go by India's recent history in finals, you've won our last 2 ICC finals. Why be worrying about an ACC final?
I mean, imagine you will be winning 3 consecutive major multi-nation finals without a single loss. If you look at it.
T20 World Cup,
you didn't lose. 25 Champions Trophy, you didn't lose. Now, it could very... See, 23 you won Asia Cup, but you lost 1 game against Bangladesh.
Correct.
So, man, I mean, now I think that I could understand if this was 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, now I don't.
Pre-Barbados.
Yeah, now I don't.
Now I think it's fine.
I think it's just PTSD that scars. Remember that 10 years of not winning an ICC tournament? I think that's what scars a lot of fans. Because I'm fairly confident about this match.
See, there'll be an added tension first time Asia
that's the extent of it.
I mean, first time when you played a T20 World Cup final, first major ICC final, you won by the barrister margins. First time you played a CT final, Pakistan won. First time you're playing an Asia Cup final. Let's see what happens at this point in time. So, is that it, Pawan? Is that it? Okay, so that's what this match dished out. India versus Pakistan on September 28th, the dream final that everyone wished for.
But before that, the other match which everyone wished for, India versus Sri Lanka, in a match which has no stakes and where the winner doesn't matter. Can't wait.
Only if it had flipped. India versus Sri Lanka in the final, Pakistan versus India in the Super 4. No stakes whatsoever. No. That's not happening, folks.
Not happening.
Yep, so from all of us here and from Nikhil in Dubai, it's bye-bye, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mother.
20 hours later, we'll be back for India, Sri Lanka. Bye-bye.